This is Megan Eileen with the Shop Designs. We sell design templates and actions to Photoshop Elements and CS users. Today I'm going to show you how to install one of our action sets from our website into Photoshop Elements version 10 on a Mac. This will also work with version 9 as well. So basically what happens when you purchase the actions on our website, you are going to get a download link directly on the website, and you're going to click on that and it's going to download a zip file for you. Your computer may or may not unzip this file on its own depending on how your preferences are set, but I have it set to go into my downloads folder and not to unzip. So you're going to double click on the zip file. It's going to open up this folder for you. Now within this folder you have a lot of files, which can be a little bit intimidating, but they are all necessary for Elements actions. And basically what you have is 3 different files for each action in the set, and you're going to have your .atn file, which is the action itself. You have your metadata.xml file, and you have your .png file, which is the image that you're going to, little thumbnail image that you're going to click on in Elements to play the action. So you have those 3 files for each one of the actions in the set. You want to select all of those. You don't need to select the installation instructions. And you're going to be bringing them into this photo effects folder. I'm going to show you the path I used to get here. You want to go to your Macintosh hard drive, your main system hard drive, not your user drive here, my Megan little house one. You want to go to the main hard drive because the user drive also has a library, so it can be confusing. But you want to go to your Macintosh hard drive, library, application support, Adobe, Photoshop Elements, version 10.0, this would say 9 if you had 9, photo creations, photo effects. You may have other actions in this folder already, you may not, but either way it's fine. And what you're going to do is, I like to hold down the Alt key and then click and drag where I want it to go. You can also copy and paste either way, but the point is that you're leaving the actions in here as well as copying them over here. This way you can save this and back it up, it's always a good idea to do that on an external drive so that in case anything happens that you still have all of your actions that you've purchased. So now all of our files are in this folder. The next thing that you're going to do is go to this folder right here, the locale folder, which is directly above the photo creations folder, and you're going to click on the NUS folder, assuming that if you're in a different country it would have your country there. And then once inside this folder you're going to see this media database.db3 file. You want to delete this file altogether. Just drag it into your trash can. I'm not going to do it because if I do, then you will have to wait for the database to rebuild when I'm opening Photoshop Elements, and I just don't want you guys to have to wait watching me do that. So you would delete this altogether, and when you open up Photoshop Elements it will rebuild. Now the very important part of this is that Photoshop Elements is closed during this process. I have it open, but that's just for the purpose of the tutorial speed here, but you really do want to make sure Photoshop Elements is closed and that you delete this file, and it will rebuild it when you open it. It might take a few minutes, it might take 5 minutes, it might take 10 minutes, it depends on your computer, but you don't want to do anything else while that's happening. You just want to wait and watch it happen. You don't want to click around or anything else because it might mess up the process. Okay, so after we've deleted our database file and dragged all of our action files into the photo effects folder, you're going to go to Photoshop Elements and open up an image that you'd like to start working on. And so once you get here, you've got all of your actions here. If you have other actions installed, you should be able to see a list here with them. You can either view them all at the same time, which can be a little confusing, but if that's the way you like to do things, you can absolutely do that. And you also can just view them, just this list of the Carnivale actions. You can easily change that whenever you want. So now that you have that here, you want to make sure you're on this little blue square, by the way, the little third icon here, and that's where you're going to see that. So now we have all of our effects here. So basically all you need to do is double click on one of these cute little icons, and Elements is running the action. It is making a bunch of different adjustment layers. And I like to keep our actions pretty simple so that you don't have a million layers to be dealing with, because I think that gets very confusing and messy. So I like to keep it to as few adjustment layers as possible. I also like to give you this layer here, which is a composite of all of these layers. So that way you are able to turn it off, just one layer off and on, and see the entire effect. I also think it's important because then you can turn the opacity down very easily without having to go through each individual layer. If you want to, however, you can go through each individual layer and turn them off and on and see what that does. So if you wanted it a little bit less bright, you are able to do that. The other thing about our actions that I like a lot is that when the action is finished, it puts you back on the background layer right here. The reason I think that's important is because it allows you to easily layer actions if you want to. So if you wanted to run another action on top of this, you just double click on it. It's running the action, but the layers don't get all mixed up together because you were started again on the background and then you end again on the background. So you have these files for popcorn and I'm sorry, these layers for popcorn and these layers for sugar, and you can turn them off and on and turn them down the opacity a little bit and see what you like. But you're able to keep the layers organized. You're able to see the difference very easily as to where one action starts and one ends. So that's why I like to do things that way. And you can even add a little bit of grain to this even, and see what you think about that and adjust that a little bit. Just the opacity of the grain a little bit. But once you find something that you like, you are going to go to Layer, Flatten Image, and you're going to save this as something other than, you're going to go to File, Save As, not Save, and you want to save it as a different name than the original file, and this way you always have your original file to go back to, and you can edit it completely differently if you want to. So that's a little bit about how to install actions in Photoshop Elements 10 and how to use them. So if you need some more tutorials or want to view our actions, go to theshopdesigns.com. Thank you.